genuine, the origin story.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you might, without even knowing it, have been listening to Nopey and Anthony, which is a If we were just podcast partners, if we weren't friends outside of this, this would be the biggest waste of time.
That is what you want to get to, though. Is you want to get to the point where like the thing is so successful, you've been doing it so long that you cannot stand each other anymore.
Do you think Joe List and Mark hate each other?
I don't think that, but I think like, you know, all those radio guys like Bob and what's his like, is it Bob and Sam in the morning?
That's the Bob and Sam Mike. I don't know if it's a Bob and Sam
show.
radio
I'm really stupid. No, there's these like radio hosts like Bob and something. They hate each other.
One of those Bob.
They're all Bob.
Yeah.
I think like Opie and Anthony, they just despised each other.
Yeah. Opie was a nimwit.
Oh, really? You have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of O&A.
Any
big Louis fan has listened to at least 20 hours of O&A.
I've listened to, but I've only listened to, I guess I've just kind of not paid attention to Opie.
Exactly.
He doesn't contribute that much.
Okay, you might, without even knowing it, have been listening to Nopey and Anthony, which is a channel posting Opie and Anthony that literally edits out all of Opie.
Damn, dude.
Hilarious.
That's so perfect when a name fits exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nopey and it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. That just shows the power of Anthony Cumia. Unfortunately, he really is a psycho.
If you listen back to like when Obama was getting elected, you were like, yikes.
Oh, no, he says shit that makes me uncomfortable.
This is wildly racist.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, dude, I'm not being racist. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to think that you're not racist because I'd love to think that people aren't racist, but they are.
Also because, you're funny a lot of the time.
Sure, yeah, racist. Dude, we talk about Trump being funny. Because he is.
Dude, he hasn't been funny in a while.
He hasn't been funny. I haven't been paying attention. But sometimes he comes. But like you said, in the past, he's been funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad I don't speak German. Because what if Hitler made me laugh? What if he did say something that I was like...
You can look his speeches up.
Yeah, but it's not the same. You got to have him yelling it and, whatever.
Hitler's more of a live act. You got to see him live.
Yeah, record. I mean, anytime it's the camera, they could only say it could only be his best... recording 70% of being in the room.
Exactly.
So
you have no idea what it was like to be in there.
I'm getting hyped up and I don't even speak the language. I mean, imagine if I spoke German and was there. I'd be a Nazi. I'm just saying.
Juicing it up hard, but
yeah,
I think the speeches that have like been translated through ChatGPT, the stuff he's saying is pretty like just basic nationalistic stuff. But I can't really remember it that well. But it is, he was really ramping people up.
He was amped.
I think Kathleen Madigan has that joke where she talks about she's seen like every World War II documentary, and like all of the Germans, they're like, oh, it was so bad. But then you get an honest one who's like, no, we liked him. He was cool.
He was super fire.
And that there's going to be a documentary about Trump that someday. I don't think he's going to do a Holocaust, but
yeah,
he's the media is not going to treat him well, like they never have.
Well, it's weird. I feel like either the media is not going to treat him well, or people are not going to treat this current media well. Like I feel like it's going to fall one of both sides.
Or legacy media aging well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know the future, so I definitely could. But I'm just saying who takes over, right? If like his side
the
takes
winners
over,
write history.
Yeah, they could be like, oh, legacy media was whatever. Or if if that side comes back, then they're like, oh, Trump was a whatever.
Awesome.
So it all depends on if media comes back, they're going to say he sucks.
Yeah, well,
and we don't want that.
But even the people who will go in and become the media, I don't know. I guess it's more split now because the gatekeepers are down, and you have Charlie Kirk's and Ben Shapiro's, but
dude, Charlie Kirk drives me nuts. I can't stand that guy.
Really?
I cannot stand him.
Why? Too similar to you?
Yeah, exactly. If he starts yelling at me, I start yelling at him. It's like two dogs barking at each other.
You don't like the screaming? I've never watched a second of that guy.
Oh, he just does a lot of baiting. Like he's kind of like a Crowder guy, like a Steven Crowder. Where
that guy sucks.
Same
so
thing.
hard.
I think Charlie Kirk is like a lesser Crowder, where he'll just sit down in a crowd and sit like this and be like, yeah, so blah.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, okay, so you're not trying to inspire change here. You're trying to beat arguments. Like, No,
dude, he's trying to sell like gold.
sell gold?
Yeah, if they play him at my laundromat, which is really funny to me, and like every 30 seconds there's a commercial for like buying and selling gold. He's selling to old people.
See, but I'm talking about like the Instagram stuff where like he's debating college students and things. And it's like they just get angry. They all get angry. They start yelling. It was like Jordan Peterson on Jubilee.
Sure.
It was like, this is retarded. What are we doing?
He got blasted from the Jubilee thing.
Well, so yeah, I mean, I couldn't watch it. I saw just one or two clips and I was like, this is terrible. Because apparently he was supposed to represent the Christians, even though he's not a Christian, which is annoying.
He isn't?
No.
I thought that's what his whole thing was. He's like,
no, he's
becoming
not a Christian. Yeah, he's interested in it.
Sure.
Until you make a public declaration of faith, I'm not claiming you as a Christian.
Okay. Especially
if he's like, that's private. I'm like, okay, like that someone in the thing was like, well, you're a Christian. You're the one Christian against 20 atheists, right? And then he was like, that's private information. And I'm like,
he's such a nerd, dude.
I'm like, no, this should not be private information.
You can't be asking me that.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you're on a public forum. That's the whole point.
Forget the public forum part. Jesus said, go and make disciples. Like, go and proclaim my name into the world. Like, it's literally called the Great Commission. Like, we're supposed to be claiming Christianity, say not Christianity if you want to say, but claiming Jesus at the very least, right?
Oh.
And being proud about it. We're not supposed to be like, oh, that's kind of a me thing. Like, dude, stop. That bothers me so much. So I'm not going to if he doesn't want to call himself a Christian publicly, I'm not going to call him a Christian publicly. So Jubilee got him.
It's funny to say you're not publicly say you're Christian and then go in and represent.
Well, that's the problem.
debate.
So the question is, did Jubilee bring him in saying, hey, we want you to debate 20 atheists? And then he's like, okay, great, I'll do that. Because he's definitely a theist. He definitely believes in a God. And then on the title, they told all the atheists, hey, do you want to debate one Christian? I think it was a big miscommunication on Jubilee's part. That's my theory. I don't know. But it's like, okay, but then he just gets flamed for, again, being dodgy. And it's like, dude, stop. You know the colloquialisms. You know how we're functioning. Stop trying to rewrite language with each answer that you give.
Oh, yeah,
you know
it sucks.
I mean? It's like so, yeah, that's why I think he's obviously incredibly smart, but he's no C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, but there's like this snake eating its own asshole of like being so smart you're retarded.
Yo, yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah, because you can't connect with other people.
I remember one time,
you're so in your own head.
This person was telling me about imaginary numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you don't need any of that.
Yeah, it's all made up.
You need to hug. You need to hang out. Get a beer. This is back then. Get a beer.
Whoa, back in the beer days?
Yeah, BDs. 8 months ago.
Are you really not a year yet?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
All right.
I just hit 6 months of continuous.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, I think it's it's in 2 days, so I didn't even make it yet.
Oh. Well,
there's still time.
When this comes out, you'll be over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, if you're talking about imaginary numbers, it's like, hey man, make some eye contact and smile at somebody.
Put the focus into a little just bit of talking to a person.
Yeah, imaginary numbers, more like imaginary social life. Am I right?
It's like imaginary friends.
Yeah, imaginary friends.
Pussy.
Not us. Real microphones. Really
real
touching
microphones,
each other.
real friends. Really
Real
touching each other.
That. Much.
Those Jubilee videos, all of them suck. It doesn't even matter if I agree with the guy. The internet is already such a bad place because of the comment section, but having a physical representation of the comment section is the stinkiest thing.
It's so stupid, dude. And it's like I watched Alex O'Connor, who's an atheist, versus 20 Christians. And even that, I couldn't watch that either. 20 Christians against one atheist, one Christian against 20 atheists. I'm just like, I'm not interested. This is not a helpful dialogue.
It's the worst format.
No one's mind is changing.
That's the worst format for a thing I've ever heard.
Hey, how about we do this? How about we get one
That's
atheist,
even too much for a gangbang.
and then the one Christian, and have them talk to each other privately behind closed doors, so that they could figure out what they think about stuff.
And then they post it every Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. One of those days, depending on when they record.
Is it even out yet?
No, it's up. It's up.
It's up.
Yeah, it's up.
Hey.
Come on. Last episode is up.
Tuesday.
Golden Crap.
The Golden Crap. Oh,
Golden
nice.
Crap.
You took the name.
Of course, yeah. You were really set on that.
Oh, you liked it, bitch. Don't act like you didn't like it.
No, I did like it, but it was kind of nice because I didn't even, normally I sit there and I'm like, I got to think of something to
Coming up with names is hard.
Thing. Yeah,
it makes me empathize with Adam and God. They got to name all these animals.
Yeah, exactly. Especially imagine when you don't have any words.
Yeah, you're like, fuck.
And they're like, hey, name this thing. And you're like, Lurshmi? Is that good? Can I do that?
Bitch. No, that's Eve.
That's Eve. You'll get, no, bitch, we're going to set that one aside.
That's coming later.
Dude, try this food with me. Fine.
That is like the whole reason, like, for like hating women.
That's
just
then?
That story. Because in the Catholic Church, like it's a lot of women hate, and it's just that story.
There's a lot of, there's that story. There's a lot of women hate, which is pretty all over. I don't even think it's, there's so much into that. The Catholic Church maybe is higher up on that, but I grew up in a church. Some people in my church, I shouldn't say that my whole church, but there are some people in my church that thought that the first sin wasn't Eve eating the apple. The first sin wasn't Eve
making a woman.
No, it was Adam not watching over his wife.
Oh,
so they made it more misogynistic somehow. They were like, "Hey, it's not Eve." People are like, all right, let's take some pressure off Eve.
The way you would blame an owner for a dog.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like he was not being a good husband watching over her.
I bet they thought they were being progressive too. They're like, no, it's not her fault. She's too useless and dumb.
Yeah, she's too stupid to know what she did wrong. You're probably blocking your face almost assuredly with this.
They don't give a fuck about my face.
Come on, man.
They're not here for my face.
Well, if it's just your face, we're out. Or if it's just my face, we're out.
All right.
But I'm saying, now you block your face with your feet.
With my feet?
That's definitely preferred for them.
Was that you who had the idea of putting our faces on our feet? Getting socks with our faces on. Yeah. So at the very least, they're paying attention to our feet. Yeah. So that's a really funny idea.
That's funny. I forgot I thought of that.
I was thinking about this when I was taking a piss. It's so unlikely, but it is, and I don't really have any skin in the game, but it's such a funny conversion story if this is what got you into it.
Oh, dude, someone commented that.
Oh, really?
Someone commented that like weeks ago.
Oh,
they were like, it's going to be really, they like came for the socks, stayed for the conversation. It's going to be a weird story to tell if I came here to jerk off to socks and then had a spiritual awakening through that.
That'd be sick. That'd be so cool.
So cool. They're like, hey, he's getting baptized. Let's have him tell his testimony.
Uh-huh.
So I love socks. And because of my love for socks,
God works in mysterious
God
ways.
works through what you love.
Yeah. And I love the cracks in between toes, which you don't really get a lot of.
Ew.
That seems like a specific thing they would like.
Here's also what's funny is I don't like feet at all.
I know you've mentioned that multiple times.
I don't like it, so it's kind of funny that I don't like people who do. It's not that I dislike people who do like it.
You either live long enough to be the hero, or either live long enough to be the villain, or you die the hero.
Wow, he was so close to 6 months sobriety. he almost made it,
and then it was very obvious he relapsed.
And lives long as become the villain.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to become the sock.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man.
Don't spill on my Bible.
That's right. All right, we made up for those 6 minutes. We were recording before, and then we had to cut it.
Yeah, because Josh said something very bad
while he was wearing clothing he wasn't supposed to wear.
Yeah,
he was just wearing one big sock.
Oh, you guys would have hated it.
It was like he was in a sleeping bag and a sock.
You would have hated how socky I was.
It was so socky,
dude. I was thinking about this thing that I saw a while ago on TikTok, and it was this movement of lawyers that said you don't have to pay taxes.
Awesome,
because there's nothing in the Constitution.
Cool.
Great riffing with you, Josh.
That's great.
I mean,
that's awesome. That's awesome. I thought you were still in the middle of telling that story. The inflection implied that there was more to say.
Cool.
I was ready for you to keep going.
That's it.
Oh, okay. You got to understand where your inflection was at there.
Yeah, I guess
I read this thing in the Constitution that lawyers said you don't have to pay taxes. I didn't read this thing in the Constitution.
I saw it on TikTok, which is my version of reading the Constitution. But
dude, I think that's awesome. I'd love to not pay taxes, but I think we probably should though.
No, you have to. There's definitely stuff in the
Bill of Rights or something.
It's in there's the
it's your right
Social Security code or whatever, the U.S. code of the Treasury or whatever. Subsection 26. You guys all know it.
Come on.
But yes, it's like an entire movement of people. They're called not tax evaders. That's what the government calls them.
Right. But
it's like
man.
Tax rights people. And I just like, I love the idea of that you can argue for everything.
Absolutely.
You can even argue that you don't have to pay taxes. It's not illegal to not pay your taxes after so much evidence that there are systems in place that will make sure that you pay your taxes.
Yeah, what's the IRS doing?
What do they get at? I just don't.
These are TikTok lawyers, dude.
No, this is like they took this. This was a TikTok video from that was taking footage from like a I don't know if it was an infomercial or what. They're selling this idea from like the early 2000s. And I was getting it because I was deep into conspiracies on TikTok.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Dude, TikTok conspiracies are the best.
I'm so glad I'm not on TikTok, dude. I'd be cooked. I'd be done.
It's the worst. We should really get on TikTok.
I'm on Reels and it's bad already for me.
Yeah, but it's the worst. It's so, dude, at least when I was drinking, I was being somewhat social sometimes.
That's a good point.
But when I'm just on my phone for 2 hours looking at TikToks or Instagram Reels, it's the worst thing ever.
Dude, it's crazy. The other night I couldn't fall asleep because I had 3 cups of decaf coffee at like 5.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a little bit of calf in there.
Yeah.
And so I was up at like
decaf. It's not no calf.
I was wired at like 1:30 or 2 or something. And I was like, Bob. And I just was like, I didn't want to open my Reels, but I was scared.
What is your algorithm? Is it just all God stuff?
It depends on if I'm accidentally on our Instagram, it is a lot of God stuff.
And then you look at one boob,
but then I'll go to
like
mine. I know it's like gets you. A lot of my comedy one, the one I use the most is a lot of it's ultimate
frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee, yeah.
Wow.
Because I've been getting more back into that kind of. So
okay.
I try to play on Mondays now.
You're in a renaissance.
Yeah, Renaissance. I'm trying to get back into it and just stay in shape by doing that too. Plus CrossFit. It's so fun, dude. It's so fun. God, it's fun.
That's so funny because every time I ever played it, I thought this is the least fun thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it's probably because you sucked.
Could have been.
Probably because you sucked.
Could have been, or it could have been that it just wasn't for me, and we don't have to be an asshole about it.
Sure, no, totally fair. I mean, things aren't for us sometimes, especially things that we suck at. It's not for us,
Yeah. Okay.
Just insist on being me. And without a doubt,
I started it. I said I think you like that.
Without a doubt, the nerdiest sport that there is. This is what frustrates me. You can't run
when you have the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's such
baby.
That's such a this is for fat kids type of sport,
dude. It's for when you play at the college level. Yes, absolutely. When you play at the college level, it's a bunch of people who were not athletic enough to play a college sport, so they just played ultimate. Mm-hmm. But they're still really competitive people, so it sucks because a lot of them are not that good.
The worst type
and they're
of people.
So angry.
Bad competitors.
Bad competitors, dude.
Yeah, dude.
So frustrating.
That's also what's happening in pickleball.
Oh,
I could totally see that. A lot of nerds.
Are you good at pickleball?
No, I mean I'm okay at it, but it's just like it was meant for old people so that they didn't break their knees shuffling back and forth too much.
Yeah. And
now you have guys who are really good at ping pong and now they're playing big boy ping pong.
Wow, and then maybe they'll get to big boy pickleball, which is just tennis. Or maybe padel.
Dude, padel is awesome.
I hear padel's awesome.
Padel is fucking sick.
I'd love to play padel, man.
Yeah, I would too. I wish
across from Mecklenburg. So that'd be the best freaking block.
It'd be so cool to pay $100 an hour to play paddle there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, think of that's the thing is the economy of New York is built on space.
Yeah.
You charge for space.
Yeah.
And you can only have 4 people playing at one time.
Yeah.
In a massive space.
Yeah, it is a pretty big space. And it is in a very nice area of Williamsburg.
Yeah, that's also that area sucks.
I talked to someone the other day who lives kind of around there.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you know about Mecklenburg's? And they're like, yeah, I love that place.
Okay.
They were like, every time I go, I get something different and it's all amazing.
Yeah, we've said that exact sentence to each other before.
And he said, every time I go, it's dead. I don't know how it stays open.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's really the gospel that I am willing to preach.
right
is
now.
that Mecklenburg's fucking rips.
Mecklenburg's best burger in the city for the price, in my opinion.
Great burger.
Unreal burger.
They
dude.
make almond milk shakes
It's crazy.
that are very good. The pancakes are ridiculous.
Pancakes are nuts. Vegan bakery right next to it.
So good.
Unreal, dude. It's so good. And yeah, like he said it's empty every time. And he doesn't know how. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know how either, but it rips.
When there's riots about ice and stuff right now, that's when I'm going to riot. Is when Mecklenburg inevitably shuts down.
It'll be you and
for
me.
having no business ever.
It's going to be you and me and about 85 police officers shooting rubber bullets off the street at us.
Yeah, bouncing them into our stomachs.
And we're going to be like, no, we can't. Yeah, it's going to be intense.
No, I will do Molotov cocktail stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that's a nice enough neighborhood. I feel like that's a nice enough neighborhood where if you did light a building on fire, no one would be mad at you. If you lit one domino on fire, you'd kill about 75 influencers and 85
13 rock climbers,
85 millionaires,
right?
And everyone would be like, well.
Anyway,
yeah, exactly. It's so crazy how death doesn't matter depending on your net worth.
Well, yeah, but it's like it's also like one domino. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Looking over the entire city.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful building. I'd totally live there if I could.
I did an installation of something there. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. And the guy had a designer. He paid a designer. We put up one lamp and a painting. And we were like, where do you want us to put this? He's like, let me call the designer. One lamp and a painting.
What a weak man.
Dude, he was jacked.
Yeah, no, he's weak.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
That is a funny thing is you have because all of these upper middle class people in our age group and in their 30s now, they're all they're beautiful. They all went to good colleges, but they're all tech people.
Yeah.
And they're all incredibly vain. And they all have work-life balances that allow them to be working out every single day.
Yeah.
So they're all jacked.
Yeah.
It's really unfair.
It is pretty unfair.
They work an hour a day. They make $1 million a year. They're jacked. They eat really good food because they can afford to pay really good food. And they don't know how to hang a painting?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Here's what
But I guess their time is more worthy than mine.
Personally, as someone who also doesn't know how to hang a painting, I'm not going to knock them for that, but I will knock them for not knowing where to put it.
Yeah.
You should at least know where you'd like it to land.
How do you do code, but you can't form an opinion about your space?
Code is math. Code is just...
Opinion is look and go yes or no.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. That's why they're weak. Because they've never had...
We agree.
They've never had a thought in their head. They're just I know how to do equation. And that's it. These people are stupid, okay?
Yeah, but they're not stupid.
That's what's frustrating. Is they're good at making money.
I'm stupid. I have to hang the fucking painting.
I look at all of the money in the city, and then I think there is no way that all of those rich people are smarter than me. There's no way. It's just not possible.
Not all of them. Or you're saying not one of them.
Not a single one of them is smarter than me. No, not all of them could be smarter than me.
Sure.
There's no way. So
there has to be some dumb millionaire.
There has to be a dumb millionaire or a millionaire that I'm smarter than that I could also become a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing the least effectual route.
Oh yeah, you are really taking the scenic route.
The scenic route.
Not even scenic.
The scenic route is in a valley.
You're just doing the same thing every single day.
That's right. Damn straight. I'm getting underpaid at my other job and at my day job, and then I'm paying to be bad at something. That's what I'm doing.
But it is good. I mean, sometimes I think about what else I would be doing with my time, and it's
dude,
it's
I'd only be doing this.
Yeah.
If I went back and I moved,
that is a cool thing to be able to say.
Yes. Yeah. It's 100%. I mean, living with the peace of mind that we're going after something we want is so much better than me still living in Denver, waiting for my friends to get pregnant so I can hang out with their kids. And that's it. Just my point being, watching other people's lives just go by.
Oh, okay.
And then I rape their kids. Okay. And then sorry.
No.
Don't bleep that.
I'm trying to think what the algorithm word for that would be. doing naked dance with
That's
kids.
worse. That sounds worse to me.
I think unalive sounds worse than killing myself.
Yeah, I agree.
I say the thing is dark and dramatic. You should say the darker.
I unalived myself.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, geez, unalived. Oh, that's like my dad growing up.
It's also
word,
like an immigrant.
The word he would use, he was
alive.
unalive.
He make a no alive.
I'm not alive but no, sleeping forever. My dad growing up, my parents liked to use like literal scientific word. He called poop BMs. For bowel movements.
Yeah, we got some BMs.
Which sounds so onomatopoetic when it comes to just BM, just bloop,
boom.
Just, gross, dude. That's so much grosser than poop to me, the word BM.
Really?
Yes.
That's because poop is the best word on earth. Poop is my favorite word.
No way.
Swear to God.
Mine's aforementioned.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite word.
Oh, that's kind of a cunty word.
Aforementioned?
Yeah.
But it's so accessible.
Yeah, but it's like, it's one of those words you only write. That's what makes it cunty.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Almost like perhaps.
Here's how you know it's cunty, because I completely changed how I was
exactly.
talking. I said aforementioned, and then I was like, but it's so accessible.
Perhaps.
Yeah, okay, I'm a
dick. And then you grabbed your glasses like Velma. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's no good.
Anyway, you want to do Bible stuff?
Yeah, sure. The ratings are basically the same as last week because it's been 2 days.
Yeah, we're not going to really do that.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of.
Although I have been, Huberman Lab.
He believes in God.
What?
Yeah,
I would too if I was that jacked at 50.
He's in good shape. Yeah.
Is he your team?
I don't know. I don't know. Then I say he did not believe in God. No. Okay. Just get super Islamophobic openly. I think I don't know. I don't know if he's a Christian. I know he believes in God. I don't know. I know he believes in prayer. I don't know if he believes in Jesus.
He believes in prayer?
Yeah.
There's a lot of studies that say it doesn't work.
Prayer?
Yeah.
What studies do you read? What papers did Sam Harris write? Although he even likes prayer to a degree. He calls it meditation. We've talked about this before.
Sure.
But yeah.
No, there's like a very famous study about how prayer, like they took these group of people, one who prayed, one who didn't, but like larger samples. Mm-hmm. And the people who prayed, the prayer didn't do anything for the topics that they prayed about. It didn't change those aspects of their lives. I mean, it's a pretty bad recounting of it, but...
Yeah, but also I don't necessarily know if prayer is supposed to change the outside thing so much as it's supposed to change the person asking for the thing, right? Like if I take this thing that I really want and I put it into God's hands, I might not get the thing, but I do know, okay, this is in the hands of somebody who loves me, right? Yeah. So now if I don't get it, my perspective on that is, well, this is the most loving thing to happen to me because it's coming from the Lord who loves me, right? So it changes my perspective on it if it doesn't change the outcome, you know? But yeah, Huberman definitely does believe in prayer in a literal sense. I don't know if he's like, this will make your life circumstances better necessarily, but there's quite a few interviews of him talking about prayer and him becoming a theist, perhaps. This is the best way to put it right now. Also, Joe Rogan going to church, apparently. Everyone's talking about that these days.
Fucking church of dipshits.
In the Christian circle. Oh!
I don't mind him.
Jamie, come work for us. Come on.
This is the one I was referring to. Templeton Foundation study 2006, one of the largest randomized trials, found no significant difference in recovery outcomes for heart patients who prayed for.
Oh, who were prayed for.
Who were prayed for. In fact, patients who knew they were being prayed for fared slightly worse. That's funny. Possibly due to performance anxiety. They got prayer.
Performance anxiety?
Dude, they got Christ ED.
That sounds like someone who's like, yeah, God's like, you got to perform.
Other studies have the stress of the prayer made them die faster.
I better get better faster. Well, no, but it doesn't say, it talks about the rate of recovery. So it sounds like they all recover. It's just who recovered faster.
It didn't change the rate of recovery. Yeah, I guess. But I think that is the study I was talking about.
That's such a weird study. Wait, what's the next one? Other studies have shown small but inconsistent effects, but most scientists agree that prayer's effects on external events are difficult, if not impossible, to measure objectively. I mean, I'd agree with that. That seems fair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the only reason I was saying that, because I do it, and I feel better.
Right. Yeah.
The only reason I was saying it is because Huberman's so data-driven and focused.
He is, yeah. But there's a spiritual side of Huberman. Okay, I'm sorry. I cut you off, though. You were saying you were listening to Hugh Blatt.
I've been so fucked up with sleep lately, so I looked at his dumb protocol for it, and I've been going on walks in the morning, immediate walk, prayer, and then meditation. And man, it just I don't feel that much better.
Oh, well, it's only been 2 days, right?
No. Been 3.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like way out of school there.
Yeah. Maybe watch yourself.
Yeah. Sorry. They're draining it in here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
in terms of rating,
when I walk to get my, here's
the walking is to like wake up and not snooze.
Right.
Yeah.
Walking is good. I will say this. If I lived in a suburb community, not the one I grew up in, but if I lived where I went to college now, I would get up and walk every morning in the morning sun. No.
Why can't you do that now?
I can't. Well, I need to really
You live right by the exit of your building.
I need to hunt for the morning sun because where I grow up, where I live is like the west. Like I need to like take a walk to get to the sun.
It's bright out.
Sure, but I mean direct sunlight.
But you don't need direct sunlight.
No, but I want direct sunlight.
You're
what
a baby.
the hell? Yes.
Get up and get out.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, but it's nice to walk in the morning. But I think maybe I feel calmer throughout the day trying to institute those things more regularly. But it's just there's been no, it's been nice actually. I take everything back I said.
Come on, look at that.
Yeah, I can admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I can too. Once I'm wrong, I will.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we ended on the golden calf.
Golden crap.
Golden crap. Yes.
Yeah. Crap.
And that was basically big fuck you to God by the Hebrews.
That's right. We're going to call them the Hebrews.
We're going to call the Hebrews from now on. And now we are moving on to the repercussions of, the repercussions past 3,000 people getting killed and having to drink gold and
ashes of gold. Yeah.
Ashes of gold. And what else? What
Black
was it?
gold.
Oh, and a plague. A pretty unspecified plague.
Yeah, there's a plague. I mean, they didn't really diagnose stuff back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like leprosy was pretty diagnosed. Outside of that, they're not like, oh, he has the whooping cough.
The other plagues were pretty specific.
Right, but those were like not necessarily. Well, death was the death thing, but it wasn't like. They were the thing, but they didn't talk about the cause. You know, like, plague of sickness, but they're not diagnosing what the sickness was. They're not saying, everyone got, H1N1 or whatever back in the day.
Sure, but they were pretty specific. If the plague was not a health thing, it was pretty specific. It was locusts,
right? Yes,
frogs,
that's true.
Another verm of bugs, blood in the water.
Interesting because it is just like, okay, the blood's water. All right, that's kind of it. But if someone goes, well, there's sickness, you could kind of go, what type of sickness?
Yeah.
But they didn't, like you said, they didn't specify.
They all got a really bad case of the Mondays.
Yeah, the Monday. So many people killed themselves. They all just get really depressed.
Yeah.
There's like, what am I doing this for? That's kind of a thing.
If I was in the desert for 40 years, I might kill myself.
Yeah, back then. All right, have we read about any suicides yet?
None.
No suicides?
No.
Okay.
But that is weird.
No suicides?
When did they invent suicide?
I don't know.
When did that get invented?
I wonder the first suicide
2000?
was. I wonder the first suicide was.
Dude, there had to be that had to really have shaken up the community.
Yeah, he's
to be like, that's an option? That's awesome.
No, dude,
I mean, that's like a really that must have been a really big split of people being like, this guy's thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be like, this guy. Did you hear Michael? He's dead.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no, what happened? And then they're like, he died. And they're like, how? He did it.
Made himself die.
No.
What?
No. That's who killed him.
Yeah. He killed him.
He killed him. I bet the first one was I bet the first suicide was a lie. Someone murdered someone and then they were just like, oh no, he murdered himself.
Yeah, it's like every comic has that joke about sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah. Hey, man, are you just saying because I did a joke about that yesterday?
You have a joke about that?
Yeah.
No, I just heard multiple.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah, about being like, that sounds like you killed the baby.
My take's different. Let's go.
Yeah, no, this was. I won't name names.
Wait, tell me your take, so I'll tweet it.
It's not my. Okay, that one's for us. But
Inside baseball.
Yeah, no suicides.
No suicides yet.
It seems like the God and Hebrews, they've been doing most of the killing.
Yeah, they've kind of been really taking it to them for the most part. Not so much suicide on their own. The only suicide really I can think of in the Bible, and this is probably just because I'm sure there's more throughout Samuel and Kings and things like that. But the only one I think of is Judas after he betrayed Jesus.
He kills himself?
Yeah, he kills himself. He's driven out into the tradition says he was driven out into the wilderness by demons, and then he hung himself on a tree.
That also could have just been someone killing him.
Hanging? I guess. It could have been.
He couldn't have gotten Epstein, you know?
Yeah, that's true. He hung himself. Wow, he got murdered. No. Well, the whole thing about Epstein is, oh yeah, he definitely was murdered. There's no way he killed himself.
Yeah.
There's no way. That's one.
What were you gonna say?
I have no clue. I ran up to that, and then I was
See,
like,
that's the fun part of this. That is what I miss.
Running without abandon. I had no clue what I was gonna say.
People are talking about how podcasts, misinformation. It's like, but that's the fun part.
Yeah.
The fun part of all of this shit is having no clue and pretending like you do.
It's really frustrating that we at our level need to consider information the same way that Rogan does at his level.
But
we have no influence whatsoever.
I think we do it more than
we care about information more than he does. Which, take that as you will. I think we shouldn't. I think we should care less about information.
I think
he should maybe care a little more, and that's about it.
Yeah,
just he a smidge more and us a smidge less.
By the way, that's I think that might be the most fair take lobbied at him.
Oh,
it's either one side or the other. You don't hear a lot of That's pretty fair.
To say he should care a little bit more about information?
Yeah.
Sure, of course. Yeah. And I don't think he doesn't think he does.
No.
I think he thinks he does, but
maybe
it's
25 million followers
or whatever. Followers. Yeah, what do we have? 194 loyal fans who don't listen to a word we say?
No, that's in the millions.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, wow, I totally
because of where we're at, YouTube just shows it like it's only a 3.
It's just so many zeros.
A 3 point, but it's because it's so many. Exactly.
Sure. Yeah, all right, I get that.
That's 194 million
subscribers. Yeah. That's half of America.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We don't say this enough.
Thank you, half of America.
Thank you, half of America. I hope you're the right half. Just kidding.
And when he says right,
it rhymes with right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I had a joke about that for a little bit too.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough to be on the left. And you're like, who's your enemy? Who you swear against? And like, the right.
Oh, right. Yeah, the people who are right.
The people who are on the right. They're on the right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm going to go over there.
That's right. They seem the ones who are correct. Yeah, I guess I'll go over there.
That's pretty good branding.
Dude, the right does have better branding. Pro-life, that's a great branding thing.
Yeah.
To say you're pro-life, everyone's like, well, I like Also, all lives matter. I know that's completely tarnished now, so people don't like how it sounds. But if you just read the words.
If you just read it, it's inarguable.
You're like, yes, 100%.
Yeah, I always thought it should be Black Lives Matter 2, TOO, and that would have fixed a lot of things.
I was thinking Black Lives Matter TWO.
The sequel.
The sequel. 2030.
That's going to be
Black Lives Matter 2.
The sequel's going to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. If you like Black Lives Matter, you'll love Black Lives Matter 2.
This summer.
Blacker and furiouser.
But also justified.
Yeah, but also I totally see where they're coming from. I get it. I'll post on Instagram. I'll post a black square.
Oh, the squares are going to be so much darker.
Yeah, so much more black than they were before.
Last time.
I'll post it on night mode on my Instagram.
Still going to mostly stay home though for most of those.
Yeah, probably.
Riots.
Just because it's dangerous.
Not right. What's the opposite? What was the
peaceful protest?
Protests. I don't think anybody was saying peaceful.
What? No.
This is the longest we've gone without getting into it.
Can I tell you my SIDS joke? Because I said it.
Sure.
The angle I had on SIDS was, well, when people ask you if you could go back to being an infant, like restart your life, knowing everything you know now, would you do that? And my answer to that is I would not, simply because I know about SIDS.
Right.
I would not want to fall asleep every night.
You don't want
just knowing that I could die for no reason. Yeah. Just being like, oh gosh, it could be tonight.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about it but cry. Maybe that's why they're crying.
That's why they're crying. They're gonna be, I don't want to die.
They're like, oh, I think I almost did. Yeah.
And then also I say, and anyone who ever asks you that question.
Almost sidsed.
I almost did. Second part, if anyone who does ask you that question, could you go back? Would you? You know that they were never molested.
Right.
Because someone who's been molested is not asking that question.
Yeah, you're not
knowing everything you know now.
down.
Do you want to do it again? You're like, no, I'd rather not. Actually,
Can we start later?
Yeah, can we start at 8?
Yes.
To start then, maybe.
Or maybe then you can use that information to avoid it.
Right, exactly. When you're 5, and then your mom's like, he really doesn't like Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
We should have them hang out more. Seems to not like each other.
You think it forces him to get molested more?
Yeah, exactly. Because they need a bond.
You know, that's what happens when you try to intervene.
Yeah, exactly. Don't intervene with the Lord's plan.
It's every time travel movie ever.
Absolutely.
That's a good time travel movie. Guy who travels back in time to kill his molestee.
Undo his own molestation. But then he has a moral quandary because he hasn't molested him yet. So he goes back in time and he's like, should I kill him? But he hasn't molested me yet. Maybe I should be less molestable. And then he like becomes less, he's like, maybe it was my fault. Sort of a, what was I wearing
but
sort
also
of situation.
It's like it made him who he was. He was able to invent time travel.
Oh, he invented it?
Would he have invented, yeah, I assume.
Smart.
Would he have invented time travel if he wasn't molested?
I mean, probably not. That little boy needed to get molested.
It really drives you.
Time, yeah, it is.
Think of what he's depriving the world of.
Then it comes from he convinces his uncle that he's from the future and he went back and then his uncle's like, so you're saying that I have to molest you in order to drive you to create time travel?
Damn, dude.
And then the kid's like, yeah,
that's a good movie.
And then his uncle, who is not a pedophile, is like, well, damn.
For the world.
For the good of time travel.
But yeah.
I hope when I'm done with this, I wake up to a world where Hitler never existed.
Yeah, that's the pitch. Yeah. And really, it's all just a kid who wanted to get molested.
Yeah, exactly. No, he didn't want to. He figured out, he realized he had to.
He had to.
He had to get molested.
Wow.
That's maybe one of the best riffs we've ever had.
You like that one?
That's very funny.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I thought that was a fun one. Mostly because I'm not good at riffing, so I'm very happy that we were able to.
You are not.
I'm really bad at riffing.
You're a bad podcast partner.
Podcasting is not my strong suit. If we're hanging out, I can like really pick my spots.
Yeah.
And I can do okay. But if you're on a podcast and I got a bat 50% of the time, whoo.
We got to take improv classes or something.
I'm not.
We gotta
Maybe.
get good at this.
No, it's a bad idea.
So we can spread the word of the Lord.
We should take improv classes. No.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but
No.
I want to do something else.
No, but I'll just hang out by myself.
All right, we're not going to finish Exodus today.
I'll practice in the mirror. Yeah, no problem. That's okay. Well, where did you start this about 15 minutes ago? Where you said we're going to... the commands to leave Sinai after they drank the gold.
These are the repercussions of
plague.
of the golden calf or what carafe.
Yeah.
Is that not only did they get killed and blah blah blah, but also now God is telling Moses, I'm not going to be with you guys as you move through the desert, as I had previously promised I was via the tabernacle.
Right, because God's basically like, hey, you messed up so much, and I am so holy. If my presence is around you, you're gonna die. You couldn't stand being around me, so I can't.
Oh, that's the reason?
Yeah, he says, if I was amongst you, I would consume you.
Okay.
And so then Moses is like, please, no, don't do that, please, because he also knows like we're kind of helpless. Like we need you among us. Don't turn your back on your people.
Sure.
Sort of thing. And then God.
But he hasn't been with them from all the other stuff he was doing for them.
He's got the pillar of fire and the cloud and all that stuff.
Yeah, but in the plagues and in Egypt, he wasn't with them in this way that he's saying he's with them.
Yes, that's
So what's
true.
the difference?
Well, he might have reverted back to that because I think he came down on Mount Sinai and the plan was to come down amongst the people. And then he says, well, now I can't be amongst you. So his power will not be with them. It will always have this sort of separation. And I think, like you said, they wanted to create the tabernacle so he could be with the people, amongst the people,
Sure.
which Moses would obviously see as like a beneficial.
Yeah, it's beneficial to be closer to God, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But their protection is not dependent on his closeness to them, because as we have seen from the shit that he did to get them out of Egypt, is what I'm saying.
Actually, that's kind of his protection at large. Perhaps not dependent. However, maybe I don't know. This is so speculative on my part, but like the degrees to which he is, the intensity of his help.
He killed like half of Egypt. That's intense.
Killed a lot of Egypt. Yeah, but he wasn't with the people then too, and now he's with the people.
He doesn't need to be. He killed half of it.
Right, but I think it's not just protection, but it's about like deeper relationship and also having an opportunity to cleanse yourself of your sins. Right.
Right.
Because the tabernacle offered what was a way for atonement. Right. Without the tabernacle, you didn't have a way to sacrifice and to be forgiven of your sins. So that's another thing that would be a big thing that they'd be missing out on.
Yeah, less close, inarguable, but not really necessary if you consider the stuff he's already done.
Yeah, I don't know.
For their getting to the promised land.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't speak to that. And all I know is that Moses not happy about that. He wants them in. He wants them in. And they have this interesting thing, the tent of meeting, which is not the tabernacle.
Yeah, that is also confusing.
But Moses, this is where Moses talks to the Lord, and it says he talks to him face to face like a friend, which is so cool.
But he shows him his back because he can't talk to him face to face. Or is that later when he shows him his back?
I think the going theory that I could speak to on that, like, would be this. Speaking is like a theophany. Would be like perhaps he's speaking to Jesus.
Okay.
And then wanting to see all of his glory, right? And also, interesting, every Christian likes pointing this out. When it says, I could show you my back, that's like...
Look back at it, God.
Look, is basically a word for like butt, basically. I'll show you my rear.
Because that's the Holy of Holies. But wait...
Holiest of holes.
Because he can... But how are you infinite, but you have an ass?
No clue. I could not.
I got you.
I
stumped you finally.
Everything's got a butt. Everything has a butt.
Everything has an ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess there was something. Yeah,
this is still 33.
This is still 33, but that was. Yeah, I guess it's just the theophany thing. It's like you have. He comes down in a person form and. I mean, it doesn't say that. I guess that from the Jewish perspective, where there isn't Jesus, the specifics on the aforementioned specifics on what it kind of entails to meet him face to face and show him his back is really confusing when you get other stuff before of like, if you see me, I will destroy you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's. I will say, coming from a Christian perspective, looking at the Trinitarian nature of God, you do see different persons being represented here. He speaks to him in a tent. Okay, that sounds like Jesus. He shows his back. Okay, that sounds like God the Father. And then his spirit dwelling in the tent sounds like the Holy Spirit. So you do see this sort of triune aspect of God, the three different persons being present, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, even back here in the Old Testament.
Well, you do.
Yeah, coming from the Christian perspective.
I don't really get it, but
that's okay. I barely get it. That's me. That's me shooting in the dark. Yeah. That's me being like, I was not a good arrow.
You probably hit the board.
Better arrow.
Yeah. Okay. So, and also the other reason why it's confusing is like you need the tabernacle to get. I mean, this is a very obvious point, but you need the tabernacle to get close to God, but then he just pitches a tent out in the desert and he gets close to God.
But again, he's out in the desert. He's away from the people.
Sure,
right?
Understood. So the tabernacle is a way for that to not be necessary.
Yeah, and who knows how far outside Moses is like, I have such a commute.
Yeah,
I got to commute to the meeting.
Like 30 minutes.
Everyone else has to come out to me too. And
he has to take the J.
Yeah. Oh, or the G during the summer.
Yikes.
Nightmare.
Always 14 minutes away.
Yeah, I think I've gotten to the G once when it was 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Man, those times are great.
Okay.
Anyways.
So he talks to God. He sees his ass.
Yep.
And then Moses intercedes.
Moses' intercession to the Lord. And basically, this is Moses being bold. He kind of throws a lot of what the Lord has said to him in the past in the Lord's face. Off rip. He goes, see you, God. This is Moses speaking. See, you say to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Now, therefore, if I have found favor in your sight, please show me now your ways that I may know you in order to find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people. So this kind of thing where it is God, Moses is like, you told me to do this and I did it. You didn't tell me who to do it with and I did it. You told me that all of these things, that you love me, that I found favor. So now tell me what to do to find favor in your sight. Tell me what you want.
How do I fix this thing, this situation that you kind of put me in?
Exactly. He's like, I got all these knots tangled.
Why are you
I didn't
mad
even
at me?
know. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So Moses is saying a lot of this to God.
Pretty good point.
Yeah. What else does it say? Is it not in your going with us so that we are distinct, I and your people, from every other people on the face of the earth? Is it not in your going with us? So I'm saying, God, isn't your presence with us what makes us distinct? Your presence among us as a people? Like, you're present, you're omnipresent, you're God, you're everywhere. You're present with other people, but your distinct presence through the tabernacle, that's unique to us, right?
Sure.
If you're not with us in that way, then how are we different than everyone else?
Okay.
You know? Why
So
didn't you draw us out?
It's a way for them to make clear the distinction that they are.
Yeah, well, we're
chosen.
God. Yeah, we're chosen. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The chosen people. Yeah, I mean, and then this, I feel like this is worth reading. And then the Lord said to Moses, "This very thing
Shut
that you have
up,
spoken,
man.
I will." Yeah, just do it.
Don't-
Just shut up. Just,
All right.
God.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't know. Go to your room.
Sorry, I'm going through a tunnel.
Sorry, I can't. Your break.
I'll call you back.
What? I do think of God's voice sometimes as Louis' voice, like when you
Jesus.
humanize him. No, because Louis does God voice.
Okay. I thought it was.
No, it's
I thought it
Louis
was
God.
you. Yeah,
voice.
I thought you were saying like you hear God as Louis, but you're saying you hear God as Louis doing God.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not. Yeah. It wouldn't just be like, oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it
go
just
ahead.
seemed slightly idolatrous.
Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah, absolutely. So this very thing that you have spoken, I will do, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name. And then Moses said, please show me your glory. And God said, I will make all my
I'm gonna
goodness.
show you my fucking ass.
Yeah, show you my glory. And then God's basically like, you couldn't handle it. Watch.
Yeah.
He says, I will make all my goodness pass before you and will proclaim before you my name, the Lord. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious and show mercy to whom I show mercy. But you cannot see my face, for man shall not see me and live. And the Lord said, behold, there's a place by me where you shall stand on a rock. And while my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock, and I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen.
Yeah, and this is kind of mentioned later in Deuteronomy, right? Like there's like when he's on Mount Sinai, he doesn't actually see him. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reference.
Okay, so you might not like this, but the book I'm reading about called The History of God talks about how this is kind of a revision by one of the later authors of the Bible. So or at least of the Old Testament stuff, which is they say there's like 4 authors, J.E.
IOB-MO-MNL.
It's Y, M, C, and A.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one's a Native American, the other one's a construction worker, and then the other two I
they're
forgot.
all gay, right?
They're all gay.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, once you go through some of the tabernacle instructions and the interior decoration
Pretty fruity.
and the gold, it's not a stretch.
Some twine and some little yarns and put them together.
A chest plate of crystals.
When you-
I'm thinking a chest plate of crystals.
Chest plate all over, 12 different stones in the middle of your
We'll
chest.
call it an ephod.
We call it an ephod.
But anyway, like this is a mix between the Elohist and the basically J and Y, like the Yahwehist and the Elohist coming together in this like personification of God.
Okay.
And this agreement that you still can't see that.
Okay.
Just thought it was an interesting point. And then
what are they saying? I guess. Yeah. I'm
they
confused.
started at different times and they were writing in 2 different parts of one was writing in Judea and the other was writing in northern, and they have similar but different things. They kind of integrate different parts of other stories from other religions in the time.
Oh, okay. So
And-
they're not saying this is history.
Well, it's kind of an integrative history. It like
Okay.
integrates stories that were similar to like things like you would have seen in other pagan cultures, and then also it integrates the Jewish story.
Okay.
So it's a mix of these things.
Okay.
But it's like this specific example, and then when it comes up later in Deuteronomy, is like a reconciliation of these different interpretations coming together.
Okay.
That was the point of that.
Okay. Got it.
These two, when they later is talked about in Deuteronomy in the same way, is kind of trying to cover up earlier misconceptions that didn't fit in with the author later on about the ability to see God and the anthropomorphization of God, which is more of something that would have been okay earlier on, but later on when God's glory is not something that can be witnessed, it's kind of like a redactive, like a retrospective way to make up for it.
Yeah, so he saw God, but not really. He didn't see
Exactly.
God. Yeah,
and so they're kind of going back and making sure that that's clear.
Interesting. Okay. So while he's up there in the crag, and as he's up there, kind of he goes up again. Remember, he broke the tablets because he was so pissed.
He was pissed.
So he down. They broke, and kind of thin tablets, I'd imagine.
I gotta say,
or he threw them.
You write
really
the
high
whole thing all on these tablets, and they break just like that. Old 83-year-old man throws them on the ground.
Yeah, drops them maybe off a high part of the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
very intentionally.
Jeez.
My theory is that he saw a typo and he was like, "Oh, you fuckers!"
Ow!
And he threw it on the
down. Like,
ground.
oh no! Or
Yeah.
or he didn't like one of the commandments, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Let me just run it back and see if it's the same thing."
Yeah, sure.
And then God's like, "Same deal."
Damn it!
And then this is what happens here: is he gets new tablets. God kind of goes through the commandments again. Basically, tells Moses, "Hey, write all this out on the or God says, "I writes them out himself with his finger on the tablets," and he's up there for another 40 days, 40 nights, and this is after the people did the golden calf, right? So they turned against him, and then he goes up and gives them the law, basically saying, "Hey, as I was giving you the first law, even though you knew this part to not worship other gods, you broke it immediately.
Yeah.
Come back up. I'll just tell you the same law again." Boom,
He's
we're
writing
starting
them
fresh.
down this time.
We're starting fresh.
Okay, this is what I was confusing because earlier when he goes up to Mount Sinai, I thought you said that God wrote the tablets. God chiseled the things into the tablets. But then this time around, it's Moses chiseling it and God is just telling him.
No, I believe it says, unless I misread it.
No, it totally could have. I'm just fact checking at this point. Well, fact.
Fact is, hey, what? Hey.
I'm sorry, you let me get some punches in. It's very nice. You've been nice to me.
So he was there, the Lord of 40, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. This one sounds Moses, but then also,
this sounds like Moses was the one writing them.
Yeah, it sounds like that. That's the case here, but also I feel like maybe I'm forgetting the thing because it said he wrote with his finger.
That's the first version.
And I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablet which you broke. That's on the.
So he's saying, that's God
verse.
saying, "I will write."
The Lord said to Moses, "Cut for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets which you broke, which you freaking broke.
You broke.
You broke them. I was gonna." Be ready in the morning and come up to Mount Sinai and present yourself there to me at the top of the mountain. No one shall come up with you. Let no one be seen throughout all the mountain.
But I'm going to write. But then in the next thing he says,
towards the end of 34.
So he was there with
the Lord said to Moses.
And the Lord said to Moses, "Write these words for in accordance." It's not that big of a deal, but I did think that was an interesting inconsistency.
Well, it's also interesting because it's like, okay, how does the Lord do his work, right?
Yeah.
Does he do it literally like I have a supernatural finger, or like could Moses be acting as the finger of God?
Yeah.
Is that a hack, like a loophole metaphor?
Sure.
Or is that just how God works?
Yeah.
You know, like we talked about with the 10 plagues, there are some sort of like natural links that kind of explain these plagues going next to each other. That doesn't mean they're not miracles, right? Like maybe that's just how the Lord works.
Or just like the Bible itself. right? Like,
What do you mean?
well, like this was written by people or a person,
People.
Right? Well, but you think this was written by Moses, right?
First, yeah.
This was written by a person, but whether or not it was God telling him the exact words or actually doing the writing down on the scrolls, or either way, it's still quite a thing.
It's still nuts.
Still pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, there's no God. Okay, then Moses was like the smartest guy. And also everything in the history that was told.
Sure.
Because all of these people definitely believed in the historicity of Abraham, which, by the way, I don't know if you heard this. Totally don't know if this is true. This is an Instagram post that I saw.
We got to have a counter for how many times we preface what we're about to say.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that'd kill ourselves. Every time we tell a lie, it goes up. And then I go, I'm going to kill myself after
and it goes back down?
It's like, all right, we chose that one. This thing on Instagram that said there was someone who DNA traced like the Jewish people back to one person in the general area of like Ur. So like basically saying there's some sort of genetic proof for the historical existence of Abraham.
Yeah, but isn't there also like every president is like a couple removed from like the King of England, and that's just because that's how like genetic works? Like,
sure. Oh, I don't know if we had a geneticist on here or someone who knows a lot about DNA.
I don't know if we're gonna have a geneticist on here for a while.
What?
Any geneticists whacking off to our toes right now?
But Grant, he like stops jerking off.
It's like what? My calling.
No. And so they would be like, oh, there's 1,000 reasons that can make that look like any immediate post on, you know, I see all these Christian sites now posting that Joe Rogan's going to church and they're like, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. Like maybe he is. That's awesome. Cool. Whatever. But like, don't like cut out this, like, he's on our team now. It's like what everyone did with Brian Regan. Everyone's like, Brian Regan's so funny and he's clean. So he's a Christian. It's like, that's just not true.
Oh, he's not a Christian.
No.
Oh.
No, everyone, you know, he's not a Christian.
I mean, even no matter what he is, he's fucking awesome.
Oh, he's so funny. But just Christians like claiming people who are cool. They try so hard.
Everybody likes claiming people, though.
Yeah, but especially Brian Regan, because he's so funny.
And he's so clean.
He's so fresh and so clean. He's good.
Okay, so we really got sidetracked on this one, but the shining face of Moses, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
So Moses makes new tablets, or God does, who gives a fuck? And then, and he's he neither ate bread nor drank water. So he's like fasting. I mean, that's stuff like that I always think is cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing these different elements that you would see in other religions being present in the rituals of this religion.
Sure.
Because like that's where like maybe this is like Baha'i or whatever, but like all of these things, they have these similarities of like, okay, this does do something.
Yes. Yeah.
This elicits something.
Absolutely.
I mean, he probably, I don't know if he didn't eat or drink for 40 days and 40 nights. That's impossible.
Well, no, it said it right here. Did you?
My bad. I know that for a fact he didn't eat and drink for 40 nights.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
But
that's what I like to see.
But doing that gets you closer to God.
Fasting does something.
It does something that maybe makes you in tune with spiritual things.
Literally every religion has this. Maybe the religion that has it the least is Christianity. Frankly.
Fasting?
Yeah, like Lent, you fast something kind of, but like Ramadan, big time.
Fast.
Ramadan's big time. Jews have fasting over. Do they have it over? No, it's not Passover meal, obviously, but they have times of fasting.
They're also supposed to have that like Sabbath year that we talked about before, which isn't fasting, but it's like
it's
the idea
an awareness,
of separating yourself from
Buddhism, big on fasting, Hinduism,
which is funny because their guy is so fat.
Yeah, I know.
Which is also funny because I don't think he really was fat.
I don't think he was either.
I don't know where fat Buddha came from.
I think it's just because it was a symbol of like, hey, this is good.
And that's back when fat was like
back when fat was hot.
Wait, it's coming back, baby.
It's
a lot of Buddhas walking around.
Sooner the better, right?
You're not that fat.
No, I'm not that fat. Right as I get skinny, fat's going to be cool. That's all I
It's
know.
gonna be the sexiest
The second
thing.
I get wicked rail thin, everyone's going to be like, man, if you weighed 220, you'd look awesome. I'd be like,
Dude,
what the hell?
I'm waiting for bootcut jeans that don't go all the way down. That's when that gets sexy.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
I'm going to be rolling in
That'd be
piss.
cool, man.
No, I won't, because I have a girlfriend that I love.
Yeah, he has a girlfriend that he loves. So he will not be just rolling in her pussy.
One puss.
Just hers.
I don't like talking about that. Okay, so then the shining face of Moses. Moses comes down from Mount Sinai, and he's glowing. He was doing also probably pretty good for your skin fasting.
Probably, yeah. Different oils.
Yeah,
circulate.
your body starts to eat. It goes through like what is it called? Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And it starts to eat its bad cells. That's why a lot of people fast nowadays, is because it kind of eats non-working cells.
Oh, cool.
And so he gets a little spa day, little restart. He comes down and his face is so gleaming. People can't even look at that shit.
Yeah, it's so bright.
He's got to wear a veil.
Because he was in the presence of the Lord and God's glory has been on him.
That sounds nice.
And it's just like, and so everyone's like,
Damn.
ah! And then they put a veil over his face because of the glory of the Lord, because it stays on you.
Yeah, it's sticky.
It's, okay. Let's cut it out.
Sticky and shiny.
Yeah, it's shiny and
Yeah.
people, it affects
Smells
people.
a little bit like wet cardboard or pancake batter.
Oh, pancake batter.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Smell pancake batter.
I like, yeah.
Have you ever smelled pancake batter?
Yes, of course I have. Buttermilk.
Yeah, well, smell something else and see how similar they are.
Stop it.
Okay.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, am I ruining your favorite tweet?
Very upsetting.
Oh,
Yeah, now I don't want to eat cum anymore. There's too much like pancakes.
That's a bummer. I'm sorry. I hope there's not gluten in this.
Damn it. Yeah, it is. I will say that is a very good analogy to how maybe not people meeting me specifically, but a lot of people I know meet Christians, and some Christians are just have this intense joy of the Lord and this peace and presence. And like, I feel like people who are really walking with the Lord do radiate this sense that something is at the very least different about them, you know?
Yes.
And that is like, this is obviously spent 40 days, 40 nights without eating or drinking and was with God. So it's an intense being with God that is radiating out in this way. But like even now, I feel like there's a version of that people still kind of talk about.
Yeah, but I think they talk about that with all people who are deeply spiritual, like the Dalai Lama, and like they all kind of have this like forever smile in their eyes.
It's because they're jaded.
You think it's because they're jaded?
No, not really.
The Dalai Lama?
I'd like to know what the Dalai Lama thinks about Jesus.
I bet he's like pro.
Yeah, probably pro Jesus. It's also interesting because he probably puts himself on the same level as Jesus. He's
think?
He's like, yeah, we're both good guys. Well, because the Dalai Lama's the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like, yeah, Jesus, me.
That's something you can't chat GPT.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I have no footage of Jesus tongue kissing a boy, so I put him higher for now.
For now, until that footage comes out.
There's got to be some type of deep fake.
What tier of ChatGPT is where nudity is involved? I mean, people are just saying, right? You know, like people make AI porn and stuff, and it's like, what engine are you using?
Yeah,
I say, hey,
4.0.
could you spell the N-word for me? And they're like, I can't. It's illegal.
It's just the paid version, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how much I was starting to think, I think Kanye's backup singers for his song Heil Hitler, I think they were AI generated voices.
Because no one would do that.
Yeah, because who the hell would do that? And then I'm like, what level of ChatGPT would you need to subscribe to?
Because it's
be
not
like,
just
make
ChatGPT.
a chorus of black men singing Heil Hitler.
There was a whole bunch of people singing it. They were just singing it outside of like a restaurant.
What?
Yeah, I saw a video, but it's too vague, so I don't want to talk about it.
Was it New York?
I don't know where it was.
Okay.
But anyway, we hit 107. Most of this was not Bible.
Yeah, I thought it was still good.
It was good.
It's okay.
All right, we're going to finish Exodus next time, which is going to feel great.
Yeah, we'll be done with 2 books of the Bible.
And the next stuff is kind of sucks because it's just tabernacle stuff again.
Frankly, yeah.
But why it's important, I was reading, I didn't have this thought independently because I don't have thoughts independently, but why it's important and something to think about is that it's kind of goes over this cycle of sin, what is it? Intercession, and salvation. So they get all these things, they get all these how to do this stuff. They don't do it. They sin. someone intercedes, and then they go, God goes, okay, you got to be good now, and then they be good, and then they're saved.
Yes.
And that's
and then the cycle restarts.
And the cycle restarts, and it keeps going
all
for
of
eternity.
the Old Testament. It's crazy.
That's all of life. But yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully, yeah.
But not us. We're going to find a way out.
Yeah.
With
Jesus,
technology.
Jesus is my way out.
Or Jesus.
You'll use ChatGPT. I'll use technology.
I love ChatGPT.
I love Jesus.
I hope it doesn't kill us.
It won't.
That's the one thing about Jesus. You know, he's not going to probably, well, he will kill you.
Well, I'll die.
You'll die.
But he'll save me from death, ultimate death.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Yeah, man. If only it were real.
If only.
If only.
Anyway,
if only,
this has been another episode of Call Him Father. We hope you liked it. And
Thanks, everybody.
we love you. And like and subscribe and share. If you made it this far,
Dear
that's
Lord.
crazy.
Did that woman ever get that shirt?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from her. So yeah, bye.
All right. Goodbye.